Aloha. Welcome to the Friday Marketing Jam Session. I'm Tom Gaddis. My business partner, Nick Ponte, on the call as well. How are you doing today?
Yep.
I am fired up. We have an amazing live show lined up for you today. We've got a special guest, a fellow shark, a guy who is crushing it in our community. He's going to come out. We're going to hang out with him. We're going to take your questions. It's going to be pretty chill. We've got some shout outs. We have a member of the week. We're also going to be talking about the long view, right? The long view. So I think it's going to be a really great live show. So I'm not sure where you are at, but grab a cool drink. I'm going to cue up the intro and we will see you back here in 1 minute.
It's now time, the moment you've been waiting for. Get ready for the fastest 60 minutes of marketing strategies and tactics to build your remote empire from anywhere in the world. After 167 agonizing hours, they've finally returned. From the sun-soaked Sin City and the sandy shores of Maui, Hawaii, now back for a brand new Aloha Marketing Jam Session. It's your hosts, the Offline Sharks and Remote Millionaires, Tom Gaddis and Nick Ponte.
Man, no reaction there, Nick. You had a totally stoic face. Whoa, listen to that crowd. Listen to that crowd. You had a totally stoic face to my antics. Did you even see what I was doing? You probably weren't even looking. So you guys don't know this because you're on that end of the live show, but our dashboard view, whenever you're watching the intro, we can still see each other in the cameras. And so I was doing stairs and I was dancing.
You were getting fired up.
Yep, Nick didn't even notice.
No, I didn't notice.
I thought he would at least crack a smile. I was like, I'm at least waiting for a smile, but man.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. I got nothing, people. Nothing. Awesome. Well, welcome to the live show, everybody. I see Dorn's in the house. What's up, Dorn? Enrique, Dave, Bruce. I saw that amazing win you posted. That was great. Cameron in the house. Maddie. Taylor. What's up, man? Patty. Look at that. Chris. Barbara. Man, I'm listening right. Tony, welcome. Shushan. Again, the shout out graphics looking fantastic. Well, hey, happy Good Friday to everyone and happy Easter if you're celebrating that. I hope you guys have a safe holiday over the weekend. I didn't even know it was going to be Easter. Like 2 days ago, my wife was like, oh, the kids don't have school Friday or Monday. I'm like, wow, that's really weird. And then she's like, yeah, it's Easter. I was like, oh my God, it's Easter? I got to go color some eggs after this because I'm slacking.
Oh, yes. Coloring eggs. I forgot about all that.
See, when I was a kid, we had the coveted black egg where they would just dip it in all the different dyes. And if you found the black egg, you got $20. So I was always on the lookout for the black egg.
That's pretty cool. You know, it's I guess it's kind of a timely topic then, right? You got Easter and then our topic for the live long-term perspective, long-term vision is what I read. Is that accurate?
Yeah, the long view, right? We're talking about the long view.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. Nick and I talk about this quite a bit because I guess, man, now it's been a couple of years ago, but I picked up a book by Brian Kurtz, and one of the sections he has in his book, Over Deliver, is called Life is Long, and he talks about, and, it was interesting to me because I'm like the opposite. Like I had always heard life is short, right? Life is short, take advantage, get it done today. Like life is short, you got to get going. And that was really the first time I heard somebody kind of extol the viewpoint of like, look, life is long. We have, we don't have to be in such a hurry as we think. And also too, when we run into challenges and setbacks and when things aren't moving the way that we want, it's good to remember that, like, you don't have to figure this all out right now. Like, just because things aren't working out today at this very moment doesn't mean that they won't work out, right? Like, you have some time there. So anyway, but I think for today's live show too, we want to talk more about like, well, how do we set our businesses up for success that way, right? How do we make a business that's going to last long term, right? And one of the things that I think is something that I know I struggled with this as well is, like, I'm sure everybody on this call, right? Like, you want to make money right now, right? Like, you want to make money now. Like, I want $10,000 in 30 days. Like, if I could just do that, I will be happy, right? Like, I'd be glad. And, the long view says, like, look, that, and our experience kind of shows us that it's very rare that those types of explosions happen, right? It's usually a gradual increasing of income over time, mainly because you're learning new skills and figuring things out, and you're doing something new and all that stuff. And so there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, it's not always realistic to think that if you have zero experience, zero clients, that you can be cranking in $10,000 a month really quickly, right? There may be a little bit of time that we've got to build up to that, and that's okay, right? Like, that process of gradually building up and growing your business really builds out a big business in the long term. Like, I was just talking to somebody yesterday about AGM, and AGM is a really great example of that, because with Agency Growth Machine, you're building an asset, right? Like, you can start building that list, reaching out to businesses, adding them to your email list, and that may not lead directly to sales right off the bat. Like, it didn't for us, right? Like, we had to, like, you've got 5 people on the list, then 10 people, then 15, then 20. And it seems like, well, that's a really small list. I'm emailing, I'm not hearing back, right? Like, you pick up a client here or there, but eventually you end up like in the spot where we're at, where you have 3,000 people on that email list. And now you've got some momentum and things start happening, right? So if we were focused on the short view, we would have started building that list and been like, wow, building this list and there's only 15 people, it's going to take too long to get 3,000 people on here. Like, we should just give up. But we didn't do that, right? We're building an asset in a business. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to do a little bit of both. That's why one of the things that we're kind of working on right now is making our core service that we sell businesses at the agency kind of a bundled service. So, long-term play, search engine optimization, for example, it takes time to implement, but over time, your business or your client's business will rank higher in Google organically for their most targeted search terms. It's a long-term play because it takes time, but over time, it starts to give you a return organically. Whereas, running Google ads, the ads can be turned on relatively quickly for you or your client, so you can expect results relatively quickly, especially in comparison to search engine optimization. But if you add those two things together and you do some SEO for somebody with a little bit of Google ads, they get some quick wins, but they get the long-term organic growth of their business. And so we have seen that our clients that are usually the happiest in the service that we provide is usually when they get a little bit of both. They get the quick wins and they get the organic growth. And because if they just do the SEO, it really just comes down to us communicating what we're doing over time to make sure that they are happy, but they're not seeing this huge change right away. And so for me, when I think about this topic, it becomes a balancing act, even if it's for you. So let's go back to you as the business owner. I like to do a little bit of both for me. I like to make sure I'm doing things to generate cash flow right now, but also working on my business, the long-term growth, which is why when we started our agency, we did this exact thing. We did outbound prospecting, like Tom mentioned. We still do it, and we still do search engine optimization on our business site. And now we get leads all the time because people are typing in Maui website design in Google, and we get those leads organically. But that helps to supplement our lead and deal flow each month because we're also doing things to generate clients quickly, some quick wins, running ads or outbound prospecting, which is really what we focus on. So it can be a little bit of a balancing act, and I do think people should do a little bit of both. Don't you, Tom?
I do. Absolutely. You should be doing both. When I was getting my agency off the ground, right, I had the mailer, which generated cash right away. Like I could literally walk into a business, talk to a business, get a check right then and there, But then on the back end of that, I'm thinking like, well, I've got to keep cranking those things out if I want to keep making money, right? So it's almost like a then there's effort involved in those. So then going back to selling other digital services on the back end is kind of like the long-term vision, right? Like we want to be able to use this, but we want to be able to do that stuff in the back end. Yeah. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and it also can come back to the skills that you learn in your business. And I was talking to my friend about this yesterday. The long-term play for most people, or actually, let's back this up. When you first get into business, you're trying to generate as much cash flow as you can as quickly as possible. So the way that you do that is entirely different than the way you keep your clients that you have happy, or you set yourself up as an authority in the marketplace. And here's an example of that. In the beginning, you have to be a little more aggressive in your marketing and your sales and your pricing and what you're able to do to bring on the clients. But as you grow, the clients that you keep, if you focus on the service that you provide and making that even higher quality, you have results, even more results that you can show other new potential prospects and leads, then you're going to, just by virtue of providing a very good service, be able to get more clients consistently, if that makes sense. So if you focus on providing the best service and learning how to do that, long-term play, learning skills, testing, getting clients and implementing for them. If you can be the best person in your marketplace for search engine optimization, Google ads, or whatever digital service you're selling, then you're going to get clients. So at that point, you don't even have to worry about or make your focus so much as going out and getting clients. The clients will come if you provide the best service.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all connected, right?
Yeah.
Everything is connected. Like there's all the different layers and stuff like that. Well, awesome. Well, look, that's a good primer to what we're going to be talking about today. I want to get through the shout outs and then I want to bring out our guest so we can get him in on the conversation and run it through. So let's do some shark shout out. Actually, you know what? Let's
give him an intro. Give him an intro.
Let's do this first. I always wait till so late to do the member of the week. Let's do the member of the week first. This week, by the way, our member of the week gets this amazing Offline Sharks treasure chest sent directly to you, full of nice goodies. And only the winners know what's inside. We've been able to
will help you be more successful.
It will help you be more successful. Yep.
Everything in that box is designed to help you be more successful.
Yep. And our winner for member of the week this week is Yakin. Yakin is a Remote Millionaires member, and he's doing the RPAs to grow his business, seizing each opportunity to speak to his ideal clients, even while out grabbing food. He just shared a win in Remote Millionaires the other day. He went in to pick up a to-go order, and he landed a client at the restaurant. Really, really awesome. So congratulations, Yakin, member of the week. Somebody from our team is going to reach out. We can get that shark treasure chest sent to you. So congratulations. Way to go.
Heck yeah. I saw that.
Yeah. Awesome.
Revenue producing activities every single day.
Revenue producing activities, baby. Yep. Maybe. All right. Let's bring out our guest and then we'll do the shout outs with the three of us. So you know him. If you're an Agency Growth Machine member, you've heard him talk about Agency Growth Machine. If you are one of the lucky ones to get in on the reactivation special offer we did not too long ago, you've been on some live trainings with him and seen exactly what he's doing. He's crushing it with our strategy. Right now, he is living the remote lifestyle. He's on the Gold Coast, which he'll have to tell us where that is because I have no idea.
Australia.
And,
It's got all the sharks. They got good waves and lots of sharks.
Where is the Gold Coast?
In Australia.
It's Australia, right? And then he's on his way to New Zealand. Yeah. Anyway, he's traveling around, running his business on the road, so we can talk a little bit about that. So give a big shark welcome to Mr. Richie Cronin. Oh, wait. Here you go. This so you don't feel there. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Now they're getting fired up.
Yeah. You're way too kind in your introduction. Way too kind.
It's all true. I mean, you are living the remote millionaire lifestyle.
I am, and one thing that I never appreciated from been just over a month on the road now is that it's not as easy as I thought. It's not just a case of having your laptop and sitting on the sun lounger and getting everything done. There's a fair bit of discipline required for it, and you wind up disappointing the people around you. Like my wife goes, "Are we going for a walk now?" No, I've got at least another hour of stuff today. Oh, come on, hurry up! So it can be pretty challenging, but you know what? You wouldn't have it any other way. I'd much rather be facing these challenges than perhaps going out the door at 8:15, 5 days a week, and then having to try and do things at the other end of the day to make the dream happen. So I'm really thankful and really appreciative of where I'm at.
That's so funny that you say that because, I do a lot of the nomad life and I travel a lot too. And, I think people have different playbooks that they implement in order to take advantage of that while they're out there. And for anybody that's curious about doing it or anybody that's already, living remotely and working and running a business, the hack that I have found, at least that works well for me, is like my mornings are generally for me in business. And then afternoons and dinner are like family, sightseeing, all the activities. And I just kind of break it up that way. And, whoever I'm with, my family, they kind of know that too. Like I'll wake up, I'll have my coffee, meet with the teams, do all those things, maybe work out for a little bit, come back, work a little bit more. And then the later half of the day is family and everything else. And it helps to break it up that way.
That's what I've been trying to do. But then you factor in time zones. And it gets really hard really quick, but hey, you know what, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. So right. There's got to be some challenges, doesn't there?
Well, you're right around that point where you need like a pretty dedicated project manager / integrator operations person, right?
We're very much. I've been doing a bit of stuff on Upwork this week and just sourcing some new people and I'm still. I think I'm really comfortable with where we're at as far as our administration team goes. I've got a couple of absolute champions that have built in my team, and it's I think the big part for us between now and the end of the year is putting really competent salespeople into each country. I'm blessed to be running a business that we're in America, we're in New Zealand, and we're actually. I've always had these plans, and being here the last couple of weeks has really motivated me to get it on track much sooner rather than later. We're going to put the same operation into Australia as well. There's no point in just being two countries when you can be three. So I think
why not?
Yeah, our systems work good.
Hey, why not 12?
I don't know if I go straight to Europe. I think there's as Jochen has proven, there's plenty of people in Europe. There's plenty of people here in Australia and obviously in America that are doing all the right things. And everything else. I guess the beauty of this business is that it's an incredibly big market. It's a big pool to go fishing from, and that means there's rooms for thousands more of us. It's not going to run out anytime soon. So, but I look forward to starting operation in Australia. We had a mind to doing that from Melbourne, but we might just open up on Aussie with the same format.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, Richie, I have a question for you. When you first came in to our community, gosh, man, how long have you been a shark? You've been a shark for
since I think it was about the 17th of February, 2020. Yeah.
2020. Yep. And now, Did you come in through were you part of the Shark Alliance in the beginning?
No, I came in. I brought AGM was the
AGM was the entry point, right? And then you just went bonkers with it. Like you set up like 55 sites, and it was like,
well, I did Christchurch by local, and having done that, I was like, why would you just have one? Why wouldn't you do every town and city in the whole country? So I set about doing that instead. And good idea, but there was a lot of learning in the execution. There was a lot of I made a lot of mistakes, cost myself a lot of money in a few key areas as well. But we eventually got it dialed in, and to be fair, it took 18 months, nearly 2 years to get that to really work the way it's supposed to work. But I always knew that it was, having a nationwide brand was going to benefit us long term. So it wasn't a short term strategy for me. It was a long term.
I mean, it was a long view strategy. Exactly what we're talking about today, right? I mean, it was a long view strategy.
And that's
how
I built my business. Yeah.
What was that like though? So when you decided to go nationwide, or you wanted to go big, like from the start, how many clients did you have at that time? Were you just getting started, 0 clients, and you're like, I'm going to swing for the fences?
Didn't have any clients. No, I just
weren't you involved in a couple of other businesses at the time too?
Yeah, I still had 2 of my own businesses, and so my main business, Seasonal Pacific, was that took the majority of my time, and it was looking after seasonal workers that came from the islands to New Zealand, and we would do everything from accommodation to we'd ship all their containers back to the islands for them and that stuff. So it was a very hands-on role. I would literally be away 2, if not 3 times a week. I'd have to go to different parts of New Zealand and meet with people. So I didn't go full time into digital marketing right off the bat. But I just kept on chipping away at it, and it was something. If I had a week in the office, I would certainly be, 2 or 3 hours, if not half a day, on AGM and other things every day. So
Interesting, man. And so, where are you at now? How many clients do you have?
Actually, I don't have the number off the top of my head. I think we're probably about 2 dozen that we're working with, if not every month, then certainly fairly frequently. We've got sort of a mainstay of 11 that we do stuff for all the time, and literally every week. So but it's also been a case of I've been still building out my systems and operations. So we don't have any clients in Nashville or in the USA. We've done a couple of odd jobs for people, but that's because I've got all the stuff ready to go in Nashville now. And I was about to literally press the go button, and I had to head out to New Zealand a month earlier. And so I've got a couple of things that I've been testing, and I've gone and met with business owners. I've been talking to business owners about it, and the reaction I'm getting is like, man, yes, give it to us. There's no thinking about it. There's no, I'll call you back and something. It's like, yep, I want it. And so I'm really excited to get back home, which isn't until the middle of May, and hit the ground with that. I think it's going to, I think it'll explode. I shared it with the reactivation AGM group last week and again this week, and it's a strategy that has 2 things go together extremely well, and it certainly it fits a pain point for a lot of business owners today. So there's bound to be more come out about that in the future. But all of those people that got in on that reactivation, it was a case of share the goodies. We opened up the lolly jar and said, take a big handful. And and also I think it's a great benefit for a group of people that are motivated to get into it and go out and test it. I think we'll see some great success come back from that strategy, and look forward to that being shared in the group as well.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, look, let's do some shark shout outs, and then we can take some questions from you guys. If you have any questions for Richard or Nick or myself, we can do that as well. But let's do some shark shout outs here. And let me share my screen.
Questions around, start to think of your questions, everybody. Stuff around, the foundations of your business, maybe questions around, the setup or how to make it sustainable, or anything that you're struggling with would be great.
Yeah. Also, too, one thing that we've been talking about in the emails this week, Nick, is we actually have been talking about the Shark Alliance. And for those of you that don't know, we have a thing called the Shark Alliance, which is a monthly membership. There's a free version, there's a plus version, and then we have what's called the Elite. But it's got a lot of fantastic step-by-step training on going from zero to building an agency, and it is like super inexpensive. I think the plus is only like $47 a month, and then we even have a special $1 trial that I'll give you guys a link for that at the end of the thing. But maybe if you're in the Shark Alliance or you've seen that email or you're thinking about it, like ask us questions about that too. We're more than happy to share anything about what's in there as well and talk about that. So, all right, let's do our Shark shout out. So,
or if you're an Alliance member, give us a shout out in the comments and say Shark Alliance.
Yeah, there's a lot of Alliance members in there. That's where Dorn started. Dorn was in the Shark Alliance and followed the path to six figures. All right. So here we go. Shark shout outs for this week. First, Cody Weaver sold a real estate coaching group on $375 a month website maintenance.
Nice.
Awesome. Our member Scott sold his first ad space for an M6 9x12 mailer. He went to get food for his wife and ended up pitching the owner, to which he agreed to $895 for that mailer.
That's a really good price point for a mailer spot, isn't it? Isn't that twice as much as we kind of suggest?
Well, it's actually, yeah. I mean, we were typically charging, we basically use the mailer almost like a loss leader. Like our goal with the mailer most of the time was just to break even because it was a way to bring in, a batch of new people all at once. So if we made a little money, great, but we weren't too concerned about that. But that $895 price, I think, is more in line with probably where those things should be. Like the mistake I think we made, Nick, is we never really raised the price. We always just kept it the same because it brought in the clients and we weren't really interested in, in maximizing the profit potential there. But if we were to really start focusing on doing that again, I would be going at pricing like this, $895 for a spot, somewhere in there, right? Yeah. So awesome work, Scott. Congratulations. It's interesting when you're out and about. It's a great way to get clients. One time I was standing in line at the bank and got a handyman as a client because he was standing behind me in bank waiting to make a deposit. So yeah. I think Dorn, that's an M6, which is like the 6x9, I think is what he's doing, but not sure on that. Awesome. Taps. I just had a great call with Taps yesterday. Nick, he's like working on some app stuff that is pretty interesting. And but Taps sold an electrical website for $1,200. So
Taps is crushing it.
Yeah.
He's beyond the client getting stuff. He's building a long-term. He's got a long-term vision.
Yeah. Excellent work, Taps. Excellent work. All right. Next up, James met with a charity for children with cancer and will be doing their website makeover, moving them from Wix to WordPress. He's doing it for charity, though. They insist on him keeping up with what he would usually charge for his taxes. I'm James. I am super glad you shared this win in the group because this is something we have talked about before, but we haven't mentioned lately, and that is if you're starting out and you're trying to build a portfolio, what James is doing here is a great way to do that. It's a great way to get experience working with a client, developing your chops, working out the processes, and have a great reference, and you're doing something good, right? Yes, you're doing the work pro bono, but that's okay, right? You're really doing it for the experience. So if you're out there maybe struggling, think about this. Find a good cause, look at their marketing and see what you could help them with. I mean, think about going to a place and saying, hey, I believe in your cause and I'm a digital marketer. And so I was looking because I'm nosy, because I'm a digital marketer. I was looking at what you guys are doing online and here's some things I see. I'd be willing to donate my time to help you fix that. Right? Really, really great way to do that. So awesome work, James. Bruce Mayo shared that he did his first $11,000 month. This includes $4,000 in residuals, website builds, and print brokering, signs, business cards, and letterhead with envelopes. He closed 2 more sales, $10,340, invoices out for the initial 60% on both sales.
Nice.
Nice stuff, Bruce. Nice stuff.
4,000 in residuals. It's a solid number.
That's really good. Yeah. Marvin Drobes, a restaurant he frequents, asked if he could update their menu. All but 9 out of 126 items needs updating. Deal closed. $150 plus 3 dinners for 2.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah. Where's our invitation, Marvin? I'm still looking for it. Hope it's a steakhouse.
Excuse me.
Here we go. Yakin, who we mentioned in our Member of the Week, sold a $2,558 marketing package, Google Ads setup, basic website SEO package, and Google Business Profile optimization for local boost. He sold a monthly package at $1,094 for Google Ads optimization without ad spend and local SEO pushing Google Business Profile. And then he sold a 1-hour one-on-one SEO coaching call to the head of a marketing and a real estate company for €327.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, he's been freaking kicking butt in there and taking action, so it's really good to see. Joanne Smith, Joanne's company, Yazoogle, was awarded Web Design Company of the Year 2023 by the Australian Enterprise Awards.
Wow.
Congratulations, Joanne.
Have you connected with Joanne, Richie? She's in Australia.
No, I haven't. And but I read about that the other day and thought, well, it's industry acknowledgement. That really adds so much to credibility, doesn't it? And I think that was just fantastic. It's a great award to be receiving, and I wish her all the best. And that, what a fantastic thing. So, those that don't bother entering into those things or being a part of that conversation, you're never going to have a chance at winning them. But I think to put yourself out there and to go in for that kind of thing is a really valuable part of being in this business, especially.
Well, I think what you mentioned there, Richie, is super important. And there's probably a lot of people on the call that don't even know this, but like you can actually search around for these types of awards in your area. And then those awards, you just submit your information to be considered, right? Yeah. And sometimes you win them. And sometimes you're just in the running. So think about this. Even if you're just in the running, you can use that in your marketing materials for authority. So let's say that you Google website design awards in my area and you submit to 3 or 4 of those awards. You can then now say, considered for the blah, blah, blah award, right? Like, so it really can boost up your credibility and authority, but that's actually something you can actively go out and look for. Find these types of business awards and just submit your info. You might be really surprised at how many of them you can get.
I was surprised. I
Local chambers.
I looked around back in the day, and it was there's a portion of them that are actually paid too, right? Some of them, I mean, it really comes down to comes down to an endorsement, right? You're getting an endorsement from this company. They're saying that this person is this thing, and if that endorsement comes from somebody that's prestigious enough or sounds prestigious enough, then the social proof from that is going to have anybody else in the market think of you as an authority. And this psychology is actually what we apply, the same principle to Agency Growth Machine. When we call somebody from the Hawaii Thrive Initiative, they're like, oh, this sounds professional. It sounds like a community-based resource. It sounds like something that other businesses are involved with. I need to find out more about that. So you can hack your authority by these various endorsements or branding, or obviously if you win something that's even more prestigious, is going to be even more valuable. Yeah.
Richie, what were you going to say there?
Yeah, I think a lot of like local chambers of commerce and the sort of business roundtables and those things, they generally all have awards that celebrate members. So some of them have things that you don't even have to be a member. You've just got to be a local business, So yeah, I'd encourage people to get out there and have a look, and winning the award, obviously the ultimate, and a lot of credibility. But as you said, Tom, just being selected as a finalist often comes with a badge that you can display. A finalist in the best digital marketer of the year, or whatever it may be. So they're very valuable things, and they lend a lot to credibility and a lot to the brand that you're creating.
Yeah, and I think one of the areas where we can expand and improve on too, Nick, with what we're doing with Agency Growth Machine is we should have our own award. The Hawaii Thrive Initiative should have a certificate or an award that it sends out, like that comes as part of the premium listing. This is what I'm thinking it should look like. Somebody, if they have a premium listing, we give them some kind of nice thing that they can post in their their place of business. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think something like that would just freaking crush it, and add some real legitimacy to what you're doing with AGM.
Yeah. Well, like I said, one of the early aha moments I had with the branding and the authority with our Hawaii Thrive asset was when we started giving the logo away as a badge to people that signed up for a free listing. And at some point, through some email outreach or conversation, there was somebody that I had no idea who they were. And I was having an email exchange with them, and they had the Hawaii Thrive badge in their email signature.
Yeah.
And I was like, who is this? And I was like, oh, they're using this to hack their authority. And I was like, wow, this is a powerful thing, and we should lean into this. And so that's when we started adding that to our email sequence whenever somebody signed up for a listing, because that's free exposure for us too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Our final shout out goes to Mr. Nick Ponte, new SEO client, $1,000 a month golf cart rental company. Yeah. Oh, I like it.
Yeah. People, it's been a hot topic lately about, going after a niche, picking a niche. But, you get these clients that are pretty cool. This golf cart rental company, there's not a lot of people that are in that industry. We're going to be able to help them have great success relatively quickly, not a lot of competition. And, $1,000 a month is a good deal. So,
yeah, that's awesome. I really want to live in a golf cart community, Nick.
You do?
There's one across the street from me, where people drive around in their golf carts. And I'm like, man, I want to be able to drive a golf cart around instead of a car. Awesome. Well, look, for those of you that are keeping track out there, that's a combined total of $28,969 for the week of April 1st through April 7th. A grand total of $393,243 since the start of 2023. So congratulations to all the people on the shout outs. If you're out there and you're closing deals, you're having success, please share them in the Facebook group so we can track that stuff. We like to keep track of what our members are doing. And if you're not, get out there and start taking some action, right? A couple of great things we have in our community to do that. One is you can sign up for the $1 trial at the Shark Alliance, right? There's a ton of great info in there on how to get your first clients, how to do all that stuff. Really bite-sized pieces that you can just go through step by step. And heck, it's only $1, right? There's also lots of other great resources. Just search in the Facebook group for wins. You can see what services, what things people are doing. Check out what's working for other people. No need to reinvent the wheel. Just get out there and implement some of those things yourself. So awesome work, everybody.
Yeah, somebody was asking for the link to the $1 trial.
Oh, yeah. Here, let me put that up on let me throw that up on the bottom of the screen here. There you go. If you go to offlinesharks.com/$1 path. So
somebody said, I started New Zealand Thrive. Do you know this person, Richie?
No, I can't. Well, I can't see the name. I suspect I know who it is, but I think they said before that they thought that I'd scooped all the AGM business in New Zealand, and I can assure you that's not the case. There is so much room left. I've got the buy local thing pretty much sewn up, but there's like New Zealand Thrive. You could do a Thrive in every town in New Zealand as well. Right. There's so much opportunity to be doing the strategy exactly the same way. So yeah, that's what I reckon. But it's Eldon Hamblin. He's in Porirua, which is near Wellington, the capital of New Zealand, sort of right about in the middle. So there's a great market there. Particularly Porirua is a city in its own right. So there's a fantastic market there.
Well, let's break this down and see if we can help Eldon. Because Eldon, you say there that you've been walking the street trying to get in on the site as paid. Like, is that the only type of prospecting you're doing? Like, are you just physically walking into businesses and prospecting that way, or like what else are you doing there, right? Because one thing that I would definitely say that you should be doing in addition, just like we're talking about the long view, right? We want to do both things. We want to try to generate income quickly, but also focus on the long view. I would really be working on building the site up as an asset as well, right? And by that, I mean collecting the email addresses, providing value on the site, right? Like, writing valuable blog posts that can go on there, valuable stuff about what's going on in the community. How can you help? Like, think about like, well, what can I really do that brings value to these businesses or that they may be interested in, right? And think about that, because yes, we want to sell something, but like we also like to get to that point, we have to be seen as a valuable resource, and that might take a little bit of effort, maybe a couple of maybe a little bit of restructuring of what you're doing, right? So that you can do that. But I would recommend
Curious what Richie's, when you've created a lot of sites now, Richie. So what is your kind of 30 to 60 day kickoff strategy to try to get some traction for each one when you implement one of these? Is it?
Yeah, I think you've got to put a base layer on it to start with. So you just want to go out. You don't go out and ask people for that. You go out and just put them on it. Put a base layer of businesses from the area that you're focusing on there. And then I put a lot of effort into making it look pretty, as I call it. And that is, I'll go and find a website for that business, cut and paste their logo off it, and then put that into the listing as well. You don't having an AGM site that just has the generic placeholder picture for every business isn't actually helpful, because somebody comes along to that the first time they visit that's what they're seeing. They go, oh, they're disappointed and everything else, but they're seeing the logos of their competitors and maybe a generic placeholder for them. Then they're going to be they're like, but also when you go to that effort, someone comes along and goes, oh my God, half the town's on here, I'm not on it. They get they get FOMO immediately, and therefore they want to be a part of it. So it's a strategy that winds up selling listings for you. And makes that upgrade option even more attractive by making things look good. And we use a line in our send out, our cold email sequence of like, give us your logo or stuff. We used to use an introduction when we'd say, hey, why don't you've got a free listing, you want a premium listing, we'd love to have you on board as a premium listing because you're a good looking business, and we find that good looking businesses make us look good as well. And so we pay them a compliment, and then, and that way we'd sort of, they want to go, oh, well, yeah, I have got a good looking business, and so you sort of just play up to them a little bit, but it works, and that's so that's the one thing I do is focus on just putting that base layer of local businesses in there. I think, and not to get stuck into it too much, because I'm sure Eldon and I can have a catch up at some stage next week or so. But New Zealand Thrive, that's a very big generic one to pull from. I know that you've done it with Hawaii Thrive, you guys, but at the same time, New Zealand Thrive, it's not really specific enough. So you're going to spend a long time and a lot of effort building that resource to something that would be much better if it was Porirua Thrive. Where Eldon's from, and you'll get a lot more traction from that a lot quicker. And you'll also make it a lot more credible by sticking to a smaller, more defined niche or area than going for the big scale one.
Yeah, that's a good point. Somebody asked, is there a way to change the placeholder picture? Yes, there's a spot in the theme settings. You can upload any placeholder picture you want. But one of the changes we made a while back, which this is going to answer somebody else's question, which is there a way to bulk import the businesses into the direct website? We've built a plugin that bulk imports listings, and one of the features that we added recently, about a year or two ago, was the ability to pull images from Google to add their company image as their listing image on the site by default. So if they have an image, if they like, think about in your, Google business page or Google business profile, if they have uploaded any sort of image there, and a lot of times other people upload images or share images there, then the tool will pull that image and use that as their placeholder logo until then, which just, like to Richie's point, it just gives them a little bit better of a look than the default image.
Yeah, I want to make sure that we answer this question correctly, because that person, are you talking about, like, do you have a list of businesses that you want to upload? Because we have two ways to add businesses to the site. One is the lead importer that we've built, our custom lead importer, which just is like a search box in the back end, right? You type in a niche and a location, and it just goes out and finds all the businesses. And with just a couple clicks, you can import them and have listings. You also have the ability, though, to put businesses in a CSV file and upload that CSV file, and it will create all the listings as well. So in your dashboard, if you look on the left, there's a import export part. You can export all the things from your site, but you can also import. So just want to make sure I got that to it. So sure that we got it.
Nice.
And that's exactly what we do, especially when we're setting up or establishing a new site or reinvigorating it. Is I use the data scrape that's inside AGM the first time, and then typically after that we have a different prospecting method where we're doing data scrapes with a product called Lead Kahuna, and then we're doing an email sequence to businesses, and we're adding them manually. We like to add all our listings manually and be very hands-on, because we wind up with a better look and better feel for the whole directory by doing that. It's part of our process, and we also it also gives us dialogue with that customer as well. So, and I guess you asked before, Nick, how many clients we got. I sort of talked about the ongoing clients, everything else in that, but we're literally in the thousands with the amount of businesses that we're working with. As a result of our AGM sites, and
wow.
When we fire the system up, we do what we call a send out. We're typically doing that to 2,500, maybe 3,000 businesses over a week-long period, and then we're winding up in a direct conversation with 10% of those businesses. So they are effectively the ones that convert to a premium listing. They are effectively clients for us as well. So we can have 5-10 clients a week. We can have magical weeks where we get 20 or 30. So they're all clients, because as soon as someone spends money with you, they are a client.
You're a client, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
and your main method for starting that process is cold email, correct?
Yeah. Which I've been through the appointment setter, the phone calls, the options that are available, and all of them work. But I found that we refined a cold email sequence. It took 2 years to refine it, and it's very specific to New Zealand and the geographical locations that we're talking to, and we have branding for each one as well. So we don't use generic branding. We really do trick it up quite a bit, and through that we're able to use a 5 cold email sequence that gets us a 10% hit rate. Which, as we know in digital marketing, cold email that gets over 2% is gold. So cold email doing double digits is pretty exceptional. But at the same time, it's not just a case of we just don't go and grab as many emails as we can and then flick it out the door. We do a lot of work in it. We clean that list. We build a list before we send it out, and typically it's about 3 weeks work in making a list from scratch. Using Lead Kahuna and tidying it up and cleaning it, and then we check it, and we do smart things like we take out a lot of charity businesses and those kind of things, people that just aren't going to convert to being customers. We also take out anyone that's remotely connected to being a digital agency or that type of industry, media and those things. We remove them straight away, because there's no way we want to be telling our competition about how we do business and how we reach out to customers.
Yeah, and I know that you picked up on that because you feel like you've gotten some competitors at some point that have modeled what you've been doing, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, we got with the old copycat thing, and yeah, I just that's the worst thing of all from where I'm coming from is like you go and put all the hard work into building branding and doing all that stuff, and then someone just goes and copies it. That's I just think it's cheating. It's not good form.
Yeah. Somebody asked, how are you avoiding spam filters for your email prospecting? Spam filters and burning domains.
Yep, and you're never going to avoid them 100%. But we put a lot of work into making sure that I think someone mentioned there as well was your SPF records, your DKIM, those sort of things for email are really important. But it's also a case of is how you title it. If it comes across as being spammy junk, then it's going to wind up being spammy junk, and so I think at the end of the day, you're probably only hitting about half of those businesses, which this makes the number even more impressive. You get over 50% actually arrive inbox. Sometimes you'll get 80 or 90%. It's just a good batch. But I've seen it as low as sort of 50, 51%. So to still be getting a 10% hit rate out of what's arriving inbox means that it is resonating even higher than 10%. It's probably more like 20, 25%. So that's pretty remarkable. And I think that all comes down to how you explain what you're doing and who you are to that potential customer. And we certainly place a lot of emphasis on being a local community resource, because that's what we are. And by coming along saying, hey, this is free, and you're helping yourself, but you're also helping the other people around you in your community, and together will add up to being something quite significant. And that really, people appreciate that, and that resonates with people. And I think that's probably a big part of Hawaii Thrive as well, is it not, Nick? Where people are sort of, hey, I want to be part of this community. People want to be a part of communities. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that is one little, I don't know, advantage is the right word, but one thing about Hawaii is the market is very contained. Like, people in Hawaii like to do business with other people from Hawaii, right? There's a very strong sense of community in Hawaii. But the reality is there's a very strong sense of community a lot of places. And if you're the person who champions that sense of community, right? Like, you can use that almost anywhere. And what I mean by that is, like, I was just sitting here thinking, like, well, when we're talking about, bringing value to your AGM site, like maybe having an article that's a little history about the area you lived in, an article about big events that's happened here in the past, right? You could do things like that. You could also really lean into providing info when people are in need, right? Like, here's the big charity, or like, if you're, whatever that is, I know we have one AGM member who lives in an area where there's a lot of African immigrants. And so they're building an influencer site that caters to the African immigrant community, because those people often feel like separated where they're at, right? Like they want to do business with other African immigrants. And so they're building a resource to facilitate that, right? And I think there's a big opportunity for that kind of stuff. I've even thought for years, like, an environmental site would probably just crush it, especially in California, right? If you had one that was just like, these are all the businesses that are doing, that doing business, not impact the economy, I just think that'd be really great.
Well, they have, what's the like B Corp certifications, right? Or B Corp businesses. Have you guys heard of that? It's I think, businesses that are, they have a lowered carbon footprint, or they're sustainable business in some way. They're 20% sustainable. I don't know. I'm butchering the whole model behind it, but they give you a badge that says you're a B Corp, and people that are in, that is their thing. That's a flex. That's a flex to be a B Corp business. And so, you could create something around that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think one thing that I point out with AGM is that, and I cottoned onto this right out of the gate in February 2020, was that that AGM is my prospecting method. It's my way to get talking to business owners, because once you're talking to business owners, then you've got the opportunity to sell your wares and create a bigger conversation. So I realized right off the bat that it was the best foot in the door strategy that I'd come across, and it was something that I knew would work, and especially in New Zealand. But it works everywhere. So it was very much it became one of the pillars of my business straight away. Was like, okay, I got to get customers. There's having the ability to get customers is just the corner foundation. It's the number one thing that I always refer to. Then the next part was having the product and delivery. So that's having a team and having things to actually sell. And then the third part was about having the branding or the agency and the credibility as well. And so AGM was essentially the cornerstone of my business, and right from the get-go. And that I built my business around AGM and those AGM sites. So that's I've always been thankful for it. I've always loved it. And I think I've been a strong champion for it right from when I first came into it, because it is a system that works. That's the most valuable thing in my agency, is being able to reach new customers.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've been a great example of how to, of exactly what we've been talking about on this episode, the long view, right? You started with this back in 2020. You're talking over 3 years that you've been investing time, energy, and thought into how to make it better, how to improve it, how to, if I'm not getting results, what can I change to see if I can get results, right? And just keep plugging away, and eventually that pays off. So many people, I think, take the short-term view and they try it and it doesn't work in 7 days, and so they just give up.
Well, and the even further level, the next level beyond that is like when Richie goes to sell his business, he now has this asset that he gets to sell with his business that will arguably make your business much more appealing and appetizing for anybody looking to acquire a marketing agency. But having this asset and this pipeline and this system where you can consistently get new clients, you're going to get a much higher multiple for your business because you have that can go with it. And I think, when I look at our agency and I'm like, if we do plan to sell it one day, our AGM site is a huge piece of that. It's a huge piece of that. And it's, going to give you a much higher multiple on your exit than if you don't have one.
I already had an offer for it, or good 18 months ago, and it was another very technical agency in Christchurch. I knew the guy that set it up, and he actually built a website for me many years ago for another business of mine, and then and charged me $115 a month, which I paid for 3 years and 7 months for a website that I never used. And so I've sort of been on both sides of the digital coin, but he fixed an API problem that I had with AGM before we put the front and the back key in there, and so I got him to his team to sort of did some technical stuff for me and everything else in that, and of course through that I showed him the whole system and how it worked and what I built and everything else in that, and he just turned around and said, "Do you want to sell it?" He was keen to buy it right there and then. He was like, mate, he straight away just saw the dollars in it. And then I have another friend who's a digital agency in Christchurch, where I come from, and we grew up together. And I feed him all my dodgy customers, the ones that I don't want to work with. I feed them to him, and go, oh, hey mate, I've got a client. I can't fulfill this for them, and that, would you mind having it? Yeah, no problem at all. That he's never given me anything, but I've given him this shit client. So
that's awesome. That's great.
And he's the same. He understands what my prospecting system is, and he was real keen to just he'd buy leads off me if I gave him the chance. But why would I go and do that? It's something that it's a foundation of my business, and I think that's what you got to use it for. So, but they're very valuable.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Richie, man, we really appreciate you being on the show today, hanging out with us, answering questions, taking time. I know you got a lot of stuff going on over there on the Gold Coast, and I hope all that stuff works out, and I hope all the safe travels back and forth from New Zealand and back to the U.S. Hopefully, I hope to see you in Vegas here soon. That'd be fun.
No, Vegas is right on the cap. Look, if you can get tickets for the Grand Prix in November, Tom, let me know.
Oh my God!
To get some of them,
yeah. Did you see? Nick? Have you seen at all what's going on with those tickets?
No.
So they decided to have a Formula One race here in Vegas. So they are actually going to race Formula One down Las Vegas Boulevard. Like they're making the street. So they're in the process right now of closing off sections at a time to get ready for that. There's going to be grandstands in front of all the hotels. And the tickets are like $250,000.
It's
insane. Like freaking
but
like the people here in Vegas are like, what? Like we can't even get freaking tickets to this thing. The price is jacked up so much. It's unbelievable.
It'll be interesting.
I was going to have my 50th birthday there, but I emailed I think 4 times to try and get like a hospo suite. They didn't even reply to me. So
they're like,
it's not going to work. But it's the same as the Singapore Grand Prix. It's nighttime. The entertainment that goes around it, they'll have like the biggest bands in the world will be there for the weekend. It is an incredible event. So maybe not this year, maybe next year, but they are really good fun. So if you get the chance to go to it, Tom, take it with both hands.
Yeah.
The ones in like the main grandstand, the tickets were $2,500, but they're sold out. Like everybody bought them. Like I think ticket people who do the tickets bought them and now they're selling them aftermarket. So like, I don't even think you can get anything for face value. It's like freaking unbelievable. Yeah. Pretty crazy. And then, next year the Super Bowl will be here. It's a mess down here right now. They've got all this construction going on for all that stuff, but when do you turn 50?
October.
I turned 50 in July.
Hey, 73, a really bad year for wine, but a good year for us.
That's right. A fantastic year for us. Awesome. Well, cool. Well, awesome. Well, Richie, thanks again. Safe travels. Hope to see you soon. Before we go, though, we have one more thing to do.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Ching, ching, bling, bling. Cut the chatter. You ain't talking money, then you're talking no matter.
Our 2 winners are Dave Sutherland and Joe Blow.
Congratulations.
I'm BLOE. Maybe I spelled it.
Okay, right.
Oh, that's a real name. Congratulations. Oh yeah, look, Dave Sutherland and Joe Blow. Congratulations. Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for hanging out with us this week. Everybody have a safe holiday weekend. We really appreciate being here. Richie, again, thank you. We'll see you here next Friday. Same shark time, same shark channel. Stay safe, everybody. Practice aloha. See you later.
See you, everyone.
You've been watching the Aloha Marketing Jam Session, your weekly marketing live show, always bringing you the latest strategies and tactics to build your remote empire from anywhere in the world. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this stream. You can stay up to date throughout the week with the Remote Millionaires Podcast at remotemillionaires.com/podcast and Nick's YouTube videos at nickponte.com/YouTube. We'll be back here next Friday for another live show. Until then,